What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. What's up? It is time for a Tuesday morning Daily Juice podcast. My name is Matt Peralta. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsDuckMatt. This is March, and we have got a ton to get to, you guys. All right, so in an attempt to keep this thing as close to 15 minutes as I possibly can, and this is my new goal here, there's all these different people joining into our little party here with our Daily Picks podcast, so I want to keep it kind of close to the 15 minutes. So I'm going to go a little close here, a little quickly on a couple of things with our picks. I've got 2 tournament bets to make today. I've got 2 hockey bets to make today, and I've got 3 NBA basketball bets to make today for you guys here on the Daily Juice. So a packed pod. First, to recap from last night. 2-2. Discord bet goes to 2-2. Nice job. Washington killed the Sabres, but minus 225 odds, kind of hurt us in the end because of the win. Half a unit. We don't win that much money back. We get the over right with the Hawks and the Florida Panthers. That cashed at minus 120. So our half unit bets, the Rangers disgustingly turn the puck over in overtime and lose the game. They're up 4-3 in the third period. They give up 2 straight goals, and they lose to the Flyers. That was awful. Tired legs, horrible turnover. And then the Bruins just can't score. Bruins are a bad hockey team right now. They cannot score. We got 4 goals from Pittsburgh. We needed 1 more from Boston. Boston scores 1, 4-1 win for Pittsburgh. We lose on the hook with 5.5. So just kind of a tough night. But hey, 2-2, not horrible, but a down night. So our first losing night in quite a while. Let's try to bounce back here today. All right, let's tell you about Fox Bet. Have you guys gone to bettingpros.com well, first go to bettingpros.com. Click on NCAA B, okay? Under Tools, Bracket Optimizer. Definitely check out the Bracket Optimizer. It's very cool. It helps you set your bracket. It'll help you win your office pool. It'll help you win. It sets it up perfectly for how many entries there are in the scoring system and everything else. So definitely check out the Bracket Optimizer off of bettingpros.com. And you've got this very cool offer from Fox Bet, which is sponsoring our March Madness contest. So you're going to go to bettingpros.com/bracket. Okay, that's special to us here on the Daily Juice. There are 2 contests you're going to get into by entering into that bettingpros.com/bracket. The first is a general contest for everyone in the world. That's a $500 first place prize in a signed Shaquille O'Neal jersey, courtesy of Pristine Auction. You got other gear to be given away. In 5th place, you'll get a Hall of Fame sub to Fancy Pros. You're going to have a special Daily Juice and Discord contest as well. When you use that link, you're going to be entered into a contest just for us Daily Juicers. It's going to be a Larry Bird signed basketball for first place prize and Daily Juice swag like the hat that I'm wearing right now. You can't see it, but this says Daily Juice on it. You got this hat. We're on YouTube, by the way, the video. Sorry for you listening. We are on YouTube every morning. You're going to watch the podcast, but 2nd through 5th, you get Daily Juice swag, okay? bettingpros.com/bracket is that link to get into the office or the bracket pool. Thanks to Fox Bet, you'll get both contests by using that one link, okay? All right, let's start talking about picks in place for tonight, and let's start with our boys. You know who I'm going with, right? I mean, this shouldn't have been a shock. Tank Hemphill is back. Drake is catching 2. I bet this tonight because Wichita State, I think the Drake money's coming in. This game might close at a pick. The second the Tank Hemphill gets cleared, and everything I'm reading, everything I'm hearing, he is going to be available to play. Okay? How much? He could be rusty. All those things are definitely in play here, but I think having him back could be monstrous for Drake. Darren DeVries said publicly that they are very happy with everything that Tank has done. Their fingers are crossed that they're going to have him ready to go on Thursday. The thing about Wichita State, and they weren't great to the number this year. They played a higher level of competition than Drake did, but there is something to be learned from just winning basketball games. Drake is averaging 76.2 points per game. That's top 50 in the country. Wichita is averaging 71.9 points per game. That's 137th. On defense, Wichita is giving up 69.3 points per game. That's not typical for Wichita. They're normally better than that defensively, but with Greg Marshall getting fired, a.k.a. Triple G, if you've known me for a long time, you know why he's called Triple G, but with him getting fired, it was a tough job, and I credit the coaching staff. I credit a lot of people who are able to kind of, keep these kids focused, because it could have got away from them really, really easily. And they could have just packed it in and said, during the COVID era, we're just not going to play around here because we don't like this. But Isaac Brown got the job. Isaac Brown, now the new head coach of of Wichita State. Credit these guys. It's going to be a hard-fought game. Average scoring margin for Wichita State is plus 2.6. That's 109th in the country. Average scoring margin for Drake is 11.2. That is 14th best in the country. Now, granted, who you've played definitely matters with this. Okay, so I'm not trying to sit there and say that, the teams that Drake played versus Wichita State. I mean, they played Oklahoma State and they lost by 3. They played Missouri and lost by 10. They played Ole Miss and they won by 4. They took on Houston twice. In the first game, they lost by 7. In the second game, they won by 5. They beat Houston this year, which is really impressive. At home, they still beat Houston when Houston went to that swoon. But they also, they were favored by 12 against Tulane at home, and they won by 8. Here's the thing. I think this is a tight game. Drake has not covered in 3 straight games. The books are on Drake. They know the number. They think this is the right number, okay? I want the points. I thought about taking Wichita State on the money line. Taking Drake on the money line, but I just couldn't come around to it because I think the books are really sharp on Drake. Bradley, they are 8-point favorites. They lost by 6. Missouri State, they were 2-point favorites. They won by 2. Against Loyola Chicago, 8.5-point dogs. They lost by 10. Really one shot one way or the other, and Drake covers, right? I was on Drake. We lost that. So I think taking the 2 points is smart here. I think getting Tank Hemphill back will be gigantic for Drake, but I expect a nail-biter. I think this comes down to the very nitty-gritty end. I thought about taking the first half under, which is really something that happens a lot to Valley teams. They get off because they've been resting for so long, but I'm not going to play totals here in this tournament. I've sworn that off. I'm not doing it. The total was 66. So, I mean, if Drake shoots a lot of threes, I just couldn't do it. But I think Drake's going to be fired up. They've not been in the tournament since 2008. Wichita's been in the tournament, I think, 8 of the last 9 years. They've got way more experience in the dance than Drake does. But I think that actually benefits Drake here. I think they're going to come out just absolutely fired up. There could be nerves. Not debating that. There could be nerves here. But I think ultimately I could see Drake winning this. But this might come down to a last-second shot for Wichita. So I'm going to take the 2 points, Drake plus 2, half a unit for our first tournament bet of the season of the dance for Thursday in the play-in game. One more future, and I got this at the Westgate Superbook here in Vegas. They've got Illinois at plus 155 to win the Midwest. All right? When you look at the draw for Illinois, first game against Drexel, second game against either Loyola Chicago or Georgia Tech. I'm very close to taking Loyola Chicago. I'm just not there yet, but I may be on Loyola Chicago. I made the joke that those two teams we put up against each other. I think Illinois, when you look at that, they get past, I think they're going to win that bracket, that little pod pretty easily. Then they'll move on, most likely playing Oklahoma State. I think they can handle Oklahoma State. It'll be a battle. I think they handle them. And then I think Illinois against Houston, or West Virginia for that matter, is a great matchup for them. I think they match up really, really well, and I like Illinois to win the Midwest and to go to the Final Four. Look, all they got to do is win the bracket, okay? At plus 155, half a unit, win the bracket. I like Illinois a lot to come out of the Midwest, okay? We may have other bets going with Illinois here, but Illinois plus 155 at a half a unit to win the Midwest bracket, I think is a really good bet. If you're in Vegas, you can get that at the Westgate. I'm not sure where else across the country you can get that, but Illinois half a unit, Drake to win the Midwest bracket, and Drake plus 2 are our first 2 bets for the NCAA tournament here going into this week. Okay, let's talk some hockey. Didn't do great in hockey. I went 1-2, 2-2 overall. Last night, you guys, I would have been on the Capitals, but, I mean, full disclosure, I would have taken the Capitals on the over. And so the over did, I think it was 5.5, and they scored 6 goals. They won 6-0 against the Sabres, who are just horrible. But that's where my eyes are going here tonight with Buffalo in New Jersey. Look, the Sabres are awful. I mean, it's just, they've lost 11 straight games. They're so bad. It's incredible how bad they are. So, look, they can't play defense. They give up a ton of goals. The total is 5.5 here. 5.5 minus 110. I'm just going to bet the over. I cannot sit there and tell you guys in good faith. I can't sit here and say, yeah, let's go ahead and bet on New Jersey because New Jersey stinks. They're minus 158 and they have 8 wins. The Sabres have 6 wins. Like, I can't recommend that, okay? I just don't think either team's any good. I think they'll both score. The total is 5.5. Poor goaltending on both sides. I think we get to 5.5. I'm going to go back on another total here. I'm going to go over Buffalo and New Jersey and the Sabres might win tonight. They might snap this 11-game losing streak. So I don't want to get in front of Buffalo and be and recommend to be on the side and bet the side that when they finally snap out of this. New Jersey's a bad team, but Buffalo they're on their third goaltender. They're not scoring much, but I just need 2 goals out of them, okay? And then hopefully we see the Devils score 4 goals. It's 4-2. You say, Matt, why don't you bet the puck line here? Because I don't trust New Jersey. To be frank, I don't trust this team. So even though it's plus 180 on the puck line to bet New Jersey, I just can't do it. So we're going to cheer for goals with bad teams and bad defense over 5.5 goals at minus 110. And the other play for a half a unit in hockey, we're going to talk about Tampa Bay, who played horrifically last night. The quote after the game, which I thought was pretty interesting coming out of the locker room for Tampa, where they were saying if they played like they did in the third period, they would have been fine. And Tampa lost last night 4-1 and open net goals. So really, it was a 3-1 loss last night to Nashville, but they played much better in the third period. So coming off of a loss and Tampa being 19-6-2, I think this team comes out and plays hard. I thought about taking the puck line, but Dallas can score, so that scares me just a little bit. But in Vegas, it's minus 140 is what I got this. There's books in this country that are at minus 165 already for this. I got it at minus 140 for Tampa on the money line at Circa Sports. And I'm riding the Lightning here at minus 140 on the money line to beat the Dallas Stars on the road to bounce back. I know they're on the second night of a back-to-back. I understand that, but I think the loss plays into our hands here with Tampa. Tampa on the money line, minus 140 against the Stars tonight just to win the game and bounce back after that tough loss last night, 4-1 in Nashville. They win here against the Dallas Stars at minus 140 at a half a unit. Okay, so 3 NBA bets to get you guys coming up here, and let's start with the Boston Celtics taking on the Utah Jazz. So when you break this down, Boston is 21-17 to the over. Utah is 20-17-1 to the over. These two teams met back in the beginning of February. It was a 122-108 final for the Utah Jazz. The 221.5 was cleared easily by 8.5 points. Utah, 5 of their last 6 games have gone over. For Boston, 3 of the last 4 have gone over, including last time out against the Houston Rockets, where they scored 134 points on their own. They scored 109 against Brooklyn. That game did not go over. We were on that over. It did not go over. But against Toronto at 221.5 and the Clippers at 221.5, Boston was able to get the over there as well. I think we're looking at another over here at 227.5. I posted this in the Discord channel. This is why it's important to be on the Discord, bettingpros.com/chat to get into that. Or if you're watching on YouTube, the link is right below here to get into the Discord channel. Get into the Discord channel, okay? It's important. So Discord channel, I told you 227.5. Hopefully you grabbed that. This number was rising, but shop around. We're going over Jazz, Celtics, 227.5 for a half a unit. And 2 player props to tell you about. 9 and 4 in the player props. Let's hopefully, I hit a prop on myself with Chris Middleton last night. So I went back and said, okay, let me do it personally and see if I'm still seeing it right. And I got Chris Middleton right. I posted that in the Discord channel as an own personal play, but we cashed on that last night. So here's another play. We've been very good with these props. And so going to the BettingPros prop bet cheat sheet, Bojan Bogdanovic for the Utah Jazz. He's a really streaky up and down guy, okay? But he's the number one right now at the time of taping. He's the number one player prop on the bettingpros.com prop bet cheat sheet at going over 14.5. Scored 9 in his last game, 15, 18, 31, 10, 17, 15, okay? That goes back to the end of February for Bojan. I think Boston gives up points tonight. Like we mentioned, I'm on the over. I like this. I think he's going to shoot a bunch of threes. If you want to go into the three-point angle, you can. He's been kind of cold shooting threes. 1 of 7, 2 of 6, 4 of 10. But for the game where he hit 31 points, he was 7 of 11. That was against against the New Orleans Pelicans. I think he's going to shoot well tonight. I think he'll get a bunch of threes. We just need him to hit, 5 threes does it, but I don't think he'll hit 5. But hit 3 threes, and we're pretty much good for Bogdanovic to go ahead and go over this 14.5 at minus 118. So it's minus 14.5 points going over. And then for the other quarter unit, we were going Zion Williamson over 25.5 points tonight. Look, this is kind of funny, but Zion you can almost just blindly bet his over point total, and the books just aren't really adjusting his numbers all that much. So New Orleans on the road at Portland, the number is 25.5 points for Zion Williamson. Zion's numbers have been 27, 23, 24, 28, 26, 23, 34, 32, 28, okay? He is going to be right around this. This is going to be decided by a free throw, a three-pointer, something. It's going to come down to 1 or 2 shots for us to get this, for him to get to 26, 27 points. But he's going to score. He starts at 22, and the question is, does he get to 26? That's the question here for us when it comes to his performances. But against Portland, last time out, he scored 36 points. Okay? They couldn't stop him. They had no answer for him. So Zion Williamson over 25.5 points at minus 110 for a quarter unit. Okay? So to recap the plays here, 2 futures and 5 bets in total going tonight. Okay? Illinois to win the Midwest at plus 155. Drake plus 2 against Wichita State. Over 5.5 Buffalo and New Jersey. Tampa minus 140 on the money line tonight against Dallas. Celtics Jazz over 227.5 for half a unit. Bojan Bogdanovic over 14.5 points at minus 118. And Zion Williamson over 25.5 points at minus 110. Okay, get into the bracket pool. For further details, go on the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat, or the link down below here on YouTube, and click on the March Madness channel. It explains everything about what we're doing for our March Madness promotion here for the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Peralta. Follow me on Twitter, @SportsTalkMatt, every morning. The Daily Juice Podcast right here on bettingpros.com.